Good morning, guys. Welcome to Yoga with Liz. We will go ahead and get started on our back with our knees up, getting into a nice core warm-up this morning as we open up our hips. Just take your arms out to the sides or maybe to your belly. Start off by finding your breath. Really feel the rise and the fall of the diaphragm and the belly through your hands. Starting to lengthen every inhale and deepen every exhale. As we lay here on our backs, maybe you choose to set an intention for your practice, being a word or a phrase, or something you wish to carry with you throughout your practice today. Take 3 more deep breaths in our stillness. Lengthen your inhale and deepen your exhale. Release any tension in your shoulders. From here, take your hands into that T-shaped position with your palms face down. And then just start to windshield wiper your knees over to one side and then the other. You can go as slow as you'd like here. Just getting a little bit of movement, warming up the hips, massaging out the low back. Now the next time you come back to center, take the left ankle over the right knee. You can even choose to scoot that heel in closer to you. And now take your windshield wipers, maybe feeling it deeper in the hips. Or even the IT band along the side of the leg. And go for 3, 2, and 1. Back to center. Then take the left leg out long. Take the right arm up overhead. As you exhale, come up for a crunch. Back down. Do 4 more here. Warming up the core. Getting the legs involved. Just really squeezing at the top. Do 2 more here. Really reaching through the core. And back down. Bring the left knee in. Then take the right ankle over to the left knee. And back to those windshield wipers. You can even kind of squeeze the core here, helping guide the movement through your hips. And do 2 more. Maybe spending a little bit more time if you feel tension in one area. Come back to center, let the right leg go out long, left arm overhead, exhale, squeeze up and down. 4 more here. Warming up the core. Getting some energy going throughout the whole body. 1 more. And take the right leg down, left arm comes back. And then take a couple more windshield wipers here. Even the body out. Massaging the spine. And then take the hands towards the hips with the palms face down. Taking a couple of bridges here. As you inhale, reach up through the hips, squeezing the glutes. Exhale, right back down. Inhale, lift up, squeeze a little higher. Exhale, right back down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, back down. 2 more. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, back down. Last one, inhale, squeeze, exhale, back down. Then take the knees to that 90-degree angle. Really work the low back on the ground here. So even the sacrum, the tailbone, really pressing into the mat, kind of rounding the hips down. From here, take the hands behind the head, or you can leave them out to the sides. I like to use them behind my head to kind of help facilitate my neck being long. And from here, let the right leg go out long. Pull the right elbow up to the left knee. Hold here. Back to center. Over to the other side. Yogi bicycles. So nice and slow, pausing at the center. Really getting the core engaged. You can always let that heel touch down if you need a modification. You can straighten up the legs and see what that feels like if you'd like. Really moving slowly and controlled. Keeping the low back on the ground here. And 3 more on each side. Really bringing the elbow to the knee instead of the knee to the elbow. So maybe reach up a little higher on these last 2. And last 1. And come back to center. From here you can keep the hands behind the head if you'd like, or bring them out to the sides. And slowly bring your legs to a hover, coming into our low boat pose. Squeeze the glutes, flex through the feet. You can choose to reach the arms up and back. You're really working that low back on the ground here. Find your breath. It's okay to shake. 1 more deep inhale. Exhale, hug the knees into the chest. Maybe make some circles, massage out the spine. Core is feeling nice and ready to go. And start to rock along the length of the spine. Pulling yourself up to seated. Cross the legs over, come through to standing forward fold. Feet can be shoulder width apart here or big toes to touch. And just fold a little deeper. Find your breath. And on your next inhale, reach up overhead. Maybe take that little bit of a back bend here, stretch out the front body, lengthen through the arms, really actively reaching up. Exhale, right back down, fold. Maybe fold a little deeper. Really pulling the belly over the thighs. Inhale, reach up. Good, maybe take that back bend here if you'd like. Maybe reach a little bit further up and back. Exhale, fold. And really working the belly in towards the thighs. As you inhale, find a little length. Exhale, fold a little deeper. Last one, inhale, reach up. A little bit deeper in the back bend this time. Holding a little longer. Really squeezing the core and the glutes here. Reach back a little further. And exhale, fold. This time in your fold, you can choose to wrap your hands around your calves, the backs of your legs, or maybe grab opposite elbow behind you, just assisting a little bit of a deeper fold. One more breath. And plant the hands. As you inhale, halfway lift, find length in the spine. Plant the hands, step back, first high plank. Holding here, so working into the core. Shifting the weight over the wrists, out of the toes, and pull up through the core. So you're really actively lifting here, like you're trying to come off your toes. Rotate the biceps in. Really holding all of this mostly in the core. Full body's engaged. Deep inhale through the nose. And exhale all the way to the mat. tuck the tops of the feet on the mat here, keeping the elbows in by the sides. As you inhale, press up, find a baby cobra. Keeping the elbows in, pulling the chest up. Exhale, back down. Inhale up to baby cobra. Opening up the front of the body. Exhale, back down. Inhale, one more baby cobra here. Exhale, back down. Curl the toes under and press back up to your high plank. You can lift through the knees first if you'd like. Again, holding our high plank here, keeping the core engaged. Take 3 deep breaths in our plank. Maybe choose one thing to focus on. Lengthen your inhales. Deepen your exhale. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, send it back, downward dog. Really just shifting your hips back from your high plank. Seeing where the body aligns. And then if you need to adjust your feet or your hands in your down dog, you can do so from there. Really push the hips back, working the heels down to the mat. Spending a few breaths here, again in stillness, or find whatever movement you'd like in your dog this morning. Maybe bending into the knees, bending into the shoulders. As you find stillness, walk the hands back to the feet, coming to the back of your mat. Again, find that forward fold, feet shoulder width apart or big toes to touch. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand. Arms come overhead. Again, maybe take that back bend here if you'd like. Exhale, fold to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. From here, walk your hands back out to your downward dog. Dog can be the same length. Maybe you shorten your dog or lengthen your dog. Play around with it this morning. As you inhale, shift forward, high plank. Exhale, lower to chaturanga or to the mat. Really squeeze the elbows in here. Inhale through to upward facing dog. Thighs are lifted, tops of the feet on the mat, really pulling the chest up and out. Exhale, squeeze the core in, send it back, downward facing dog. Starting our sun salutations. Really warming up the whole body now, getting into a flow and a rhythm. On your next inhale, look forward. Slowly walk the feet to the hands. Inhale, halfway lift, find length. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand. Arms come overhead. Okay, maybe take that back bend here. Stretching out the core. Opening up the chest. Lifting the energy up and out all the way through the hands. Exhale, back down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back, high plank. Shift the weight over the wrists. Exhale, lower to chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Back down to downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Making sure the hands are spread wide. Pulling up and out through our hips. On your next inhale, look forward. Slowly walk to the top of your mat. Massaging out the hamstrings there. Inhale, halfway lift. Find length in the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand. Arms come overhead. And this time, take that little bend over to the right. Pull the core in, rotate the hips under. Really stretch out the side body. Inhale, back up to center. Exhale, over to the left side. Again, round the hips under. the core in. Stretching out the right. Inhale to center. Exhale, take it back. Inhale, back up. Exhale, forward fold. Right back into our sun salutation A. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, high plank. Shift over the wrists, down to chaturanga. Upward facing dog, back to downward dog. Really working the heels to the mat. Pushing out and away through the hips. Find that breath you had at the beginning of your practice. On your next inhale, look forward, bend the knees, and step one foot at a time to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand, arms come overhead. One more sun A here. Exhale, swan dive forward. Halfway lift. Plant the hands, step back, high plank. Shift over the wrists and lower controlled, elbows in, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Thighs are lifted. Exhale, send it back, downward dog. Push back through the hips. Opening up the whole back body here. Noticing any areas that you're still holding tension. Maybe breathe into those. As you exhale, let the tension go. In your next inhale, look forward, bend the knees. Step one foot at a time to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand, arms overhead. Exhale through to heart center. Spending a breath here. Taking note how you're starting to feel physically or mentally. Reflecting on that intention you may have set at the beginning of your practice. Inhale the arms right back up. Exhale, set the hips back. Pull the hands to heart center into your Utkatasana chair pose. Again, the big toes can be to touch, heels slightly apart, or you can take the feet shoulder width apart. Maybe you usually do one, so play with the other today. And elongate down through the tailbone here, tucking the hips under, squeezing the core in. Really lengthening through the spine. Exhale, sit a little deeper. From here, shift the weight into the right leg. Take the left knee over the right leg. Maybe you just kickstand that left foot, or bring that left leg behind the right. Holding in this eagle modification. From here, you can take the left arm underneath the right. So left leg goes over, left arm goes under, and pull up through the shoulders, keeping the elbows in line here, finding your eagle pose. Maybe you take the arms out slightly to the side so you can have a point of focus. Really working into that right leg, especially in this posture. Exhale, gently release back to Utkatasana. Really feeling it in the right side. Getting into the left. Taking the right leg over the left. Again, maybe kickstand that foot down, or you can wrap the foot around the left leg. From here, take the right arm underneath the left, pulling up through the shoulders, bringing the hands together into your eagle pose. And if you can, from here, start to sit back a little bit more. So instead of leaning so far forward, pulling the arms back, sitting upright. One more breath here. Now on your next exhale, release the pose back to Utkatasana. So opening deep into the knees. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back, high plank. Flow through your vinyasa here. Meeting in downward facing dog. Really starting to open up the hips in our practice. Working into the lower body a lot here. Inhale the right leg back. Into your three-legged dog. Really let that left heel sink down. From here, open up into that hip, bending into the right knee. Again, watch how you're distributing the weight in your shoulders. You can get even down to the ground or your mat. Then maybe make some circles with your knee, finding some fluidity in that hip joint or ball and socket joint. Finding that good range of motion. Maybe go the other way. Then bend back into that knee. And shift forward into your high plank, taking the right knee to your right tricep. Working into the core and the hips at the same time. Exhale, send it back. Three-legged dog, open up that hip. Bend into the knee. Inhale, forward, high plank, knee to tricep. Exhale, back, open up through the hip. One more here, inhale, forward. Exhale, back, open up the hip, three-legged dog. Then take the knee back towards center. Step the right foot through the hands, turning the left toes towards the long side of your mat. Cartwheel the arms up into your warrior two. Bending deep into that front knee, making sure that the knee is going over the second and third toe. Opening up the right hip, but finding stability and strength throughout the rest of the body. Reverse your warrior, taking the left arm into that half bind behind you or down your leg, bringing the right arm overhead, lifting up through the sides, working the obliques, keeping that deep bend in the front knee, coming back to warrior two. And cartwheel the hands down into your lunge, runner's lunge. Keeping the left hand planted, lift the right arm up. Finding our twisted lunge. Really opening up through the shoulder. And from here, coming onto that pinky toe side of the left foot, planting firmly through the left hand, and maybe in one or two steps, bring the right leg back into your side plank. Holding here, 5 deep breaths. Lifting up through the side, whole body's engaged. 2 more breaths. You can always lower that knee, bottom knee. On your next exhale, come back through to center, into your high plank. Flow through your vinyasa. Again, meeting in downward dog, or take a breath in child's pose. Coming back to your breath. Maybe back to some stillness. On your next inhale, look forward. Bend the knees and step to the top of your mat. Take that yogi fold, forward fold here. Stretch out the back body. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand, arms overhead. Sit back into our chair pose. Again, maybe take the feet shoulder width apart. Lengthening through the spine. lifting up through the shoulders. Taking eagle on each side again here, getting familiar with some new postures maybe. Shifting the weight to the right leg, and then take the left leg, either kickstand down or wrapping it behind you. Then take the left arm underneath the right, pulling up through the shoulders. Maybe the palms touch, or maybe you're here. Or maybe you just keep reaching up through your arms or finding heart center. Start to sit up and back. Really finding some strength in that right leg. Find your breath here. Using your breath to help find stillness in this posture. Exhale, release back to chair pose. 2 breaths here. Lengthening through the spine, lifting up through the arms. Start to shift the weight over to the left leg. Take the right leg again, maybe to the kickstand, or wrap it behind. And then take the right arm underneath the left. Again, maybe the palms touch here, or maybe we find another position for our arms. And your eagle pose on the other side. Working that left leg. Finding strength in that whole leg here. Maybe find some stillness, but it's okay if you shake. Now you're pushing your edge in your practice this morning. On your next exhale, start to release back to chair pose. Maybe heart center or reach up through the arms. Sit a little deeper in your chair. Really activating the lower body. And forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, high plank. Flow through your vinyasa. Feels good. Stretch out the hips after that. Coming back to our downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift the left leg back. Start to open up that hip, bending into the knee. Again, just doing a little check in our shoulders, keeping the weight distributed evenly. The chest is still facing the mat, and I'm opening up to the side. Then start to make those circles again, getting that joint warmed up, making the motions as big or as small as you'd like, and maybe go the other way, bending back into our hip. As you inhale, come forward to high plank, bring the left knee to the left tricep, exhale back, open up the hip. Inhale forward, knee to tricep. Exhale back, open up the hip. Inhale forward, knee to tricep. Really squeeze the core. Exhale back, open up that hip. Then take the knee facing down and step the left foot through the hands. Turn the right toes to the long side of the mat and open up to warrior 2. Just taking a quick glance at your body. Scanning to make sure that your left knee is over your second and third toe. Gently opening up that hip. Getting a firm foundation throughout that right back leg, keeping it strong and steady. Exhale, reverse your warrior, maybe taking that right arm into the half bind or down your leg if you choose. Left arm comes up and overhead. Oftentimes we lose that deep bend in our front knee, so just doing a quick check. Maybe bend a little deeper. Coming back to warrior 2. Cartwheeling hands down into our runner's lunge. Firmly plant through the right hand. Lift up through the left. Finding Continuing our twisted lunge. Getting a good stretch here at that left glute, and even into the quads or the hamstrings. Keeping the right leg nice and strong. Start to turn onto that pinky toe side of the right foot, maybe with 1 or 2 steps. Come back into our side plank. Again, you can always choose to drop the bottom knee down or lift the top leg up. Holding for 4 more breaths, really lifting through the side. Maybe you're wobbling a little bit, that's okay. 1 more breath here. As you exhale, come back to your high plank. Float through your vinyasa. Maybe take child's pose. Finding some stillness. Coming back to your breath. Then from here, shift the weight forward into high plank. Exhale, lower chaturanga through to upward facing dog. Holding here with the tops of the toes still curled under. Really firming up the thighs or the quads. Opening up the back into the hips. As you start to round into your high plank, pull the right knee up in with you. Squeezing that heel into the glutes. Almost in our cheetah posture. Come back to that upward facing dog with the toes curled under. Send it back, downward facing dog. Shift forward back to our upward facing dog. Toes still curled under. This time squeeze the left knee into the chest. Really pull the heel into the glutes. Back to that upward facing dog. Back to downward dog. Go through each side a couple more times here, working the core, the hips, kind of the whole body again. Pulling in, planting down, upward dog, back to downward dog, send the hips back. Shift forward into that upward facing dog, toes still curled under. Squeeze into that cheetah posture, knee to chest, heel to glutes. Back to that upward facing dog, back to downward dog. Do 1 more each side. Shift forward to our upward dog, knee to chest, glute to knee, heel to glutes. Back to upward dog, back to downward dog. Shift forward to our upward facing dog, knee to chest, heel to glutes. Back to upward facing dog, back to downward dog. Couple breaths here, maybe drop to child's pose. Doing a little more core work in our practice today. Using the core to help strengthen our hip mobility. A lot of low back pain or hip pain can come from a weaker core. So making sure we spend enough time in our practice focusing on the core, using it to drive so many movements. Your next inhale, lift the right leg back. Come through knee to chest. Then this time, plant that right foot down in front of you on either side of the hands. Get that firm foundation through the legs and lift up for crescent lunge. Pulling the core in here, rotate the hips under. And open up into warrior 2. Then take the right hand down to the ground or your mat. Lift the left arm overhead, find extended side angle. Really pulling up through the side body. Turn the left hand down. And the foot is on the outside of both hands, and start to heel toe the foot out a little bit into our lizard lunge. Shift the weight forward a little bit, stretching out that left quad, pulling deep into the right hip. Plant the left knee down, and then take the right arm up and behind you, finding a deeper quad stretch here. You can always choose to use a strap or a towel to help pull the foot towards you. Then bring the right hand back down. Plant the left toes, lift up through that back knee, and come back to your high plank. Now coming back into that cheetah to upward dog flow we had, going through it a little faster. As you inhale, lower, upward dog, toes curled under. Deep exhale, bring the knee to the chest, really drive it forward. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale to that knee to chest. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, cheetah. Inhale, upward. Exhale, knee to chest or cheetah. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, cheetah. Good, one more on the left. Inhale, upward. Exhale, cheetah, squeeze the core. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward dog. 2 deep breaths here. Then inhale the left foot back. Then take the knee into the chest and step the left foot forward. Again, find that firm foundation, crescent lunge. Lift up through the arms. Rotate the hips under. Then open up to warrior 2. Been here before, but just do a quick body scan. See where your knee is, where your hips are. Then take it down to extended side angle. Bring the right arm overhead, the left hand down to the mat. Kind of pulling up through the side body, so not just falling over a leg, but really keeping this pose active and engaged. As you exhale, turn the right hand down to the mat, turn the right toes forward, heel toe the left foot out to your lizard lunge. Maybe shift the weight forward, then you'll feel it a little more into that right quad. Drop that right knee down, planting the right hand down firmly to the mat. Open up through the left arm, pull that right quad towards you. The right foot towards you to open up the quad. Getting that deep stretch throughout the front of the right leg. Opening up the left hip. Release your grip, plant the left hand down. Bring the right knee up and step back into your high plank. Visiting that flow one more time here. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, knee to chest, drive it fast. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, knee to chest, really squeeze the core in when you pull up. Inhale to chest, back down. Pull it in, back down, one more each side. Knee to chest, upward dog, knee to chest, upward dog. Exhale back to downward facing dog. Starting to find your breath if you lost it. Finding that slow and controlled pranayama or breath that we had at the beginning of our practice. Then slowly walk the feet through, coming into a comfortable seated position. Then taking the legs out long, flexing through the toes. Inhale the arms up. Exhale forward, fold or Paschimottanasana, pulling the feet towards you, or maybe letting the hands rest on the shins or the knees. keeping the spine long here. Starting to slow our practice down. Then release here, bringing the hands back to the hips. Then taking the hands behind you with the fingers facing your toes or the top of the mat. As you inhale, start to lift up into reverse plank. Working the whole body here, really getting into the hips. Finding some strength in the low back. One more breath. And exhale back down. Reach the arms up and forward fold. Kind of getting a stretch, with some good work at the same time. Just feeling good throughout the whole body. Release your fold, walk the hands back. Reverse plank again here, lifting up through the hips. You can always choose to drop one knee or one leg down or plant the foot. And set the hips back down. Reach up, forward fold. One more time here in this little sequence. And slowly walk the hands back, past the hips, fingers facing the toes. Inhale, reach up. Maybe lift the hips a little higher. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Release back down. Then you can leave the hands where they are and start to recline onto your back with your knees up. Then pulling the knees into the chest, kind of reversing that back bend maybe. Back bend in the reverse plank, just massaging out the spine. That can be a lot of pressure on the back. Then let the left leg go long, resting on the mat. And take the right knee over to the left side, finding this deep spinal twist. Maybe taking the right arm out long, and looking over at the right hand, getting a stretch throughout the top of your spine. Releasing any tension, so carrying in your body. Using the left hand to gently guide the right knee down. Slowly take the right knee back to center. Pull the left knee in, hug the knees in, give them a good squeeze. Then let the right leg fall out long. Take the left leg over to the right side, finding your spinal twist on the left. Massaging along the whole spine. Releasing any tension. Gently coming back to center. Hug the knees in one more time. Then let both legs rest out long into your final resting pose, Shavasana. Just spending a couple breaths here. Letting your body and your mind come to stillness. Allowing yourself the time, the space to just be and be still. On your next inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Take that full body stretch, then hug the knees in. Slowly rock up to a comfortable seated position. Bringing the hands to heart center. And just reflect on that intention you set at the beginning of your practice and how you carried it with you and can continue to carry it with you throughout your week. the light and honor in me honors the light and honor in you. Namaste.